Hello, you future network associates. This is Will Hader doing Packet Tracer Ospf Practice Skills Assessment. This is the very last Packet Tracer of CCNA 3. Isn't that exciting? And we have our finals to look forward to, and we're just going to do so well on those. You already know it. Let's get going on this Packet Tracer, and let me explain why I hate it. It's very repetitive, and it's not real fun. It has you jump around a lot, too, just a lot. Like it'll have you do version 2, then version 3, then version 2, version 3. So we're just going to stick on one router as long as we can and get as much done on each router as we can as we go through. We're going to do a little bit of jumping around, but not too much. First of all, let's open up our administrator router and give ourselves an IP default route of 000. 000, and the exit interface is going to be 010, meaning that it's on the 10.0.0.0 network /30, and that is right there. So S010. IPv6 route, default route. S010. Okay, there we go. Next, let's do our router Ospf, because we are going to jump down to step number 2. Right here on Administrator Science and Technology Routers, configure single area Ospf version 2 in area 0. Use a process ID of 10. For all Ospf version 2 routes. We're also going to use it for the Ospf version 3 routes. Activate routing on the appropriate networks. Use the inverse masks that specify only the addresses used within the networks. Specify a bandwidth value that matches the clock speed of the interfaces of the administration for interfaces of all devices that are configured in area 0. We'll do that in a little bit. But first of all, let's do this. And I want us to copy this command right there, because it's going to come in super helpful later. Router ID is going to be 10.20.0.0. And our networks, what are our networks going to be? Networks 10.10.10.2. And because it's a /30, we're going to drop this down to a 0, because /30 networks go in increments of 4. 0 would be the network address, 1 and 2 would be the interface addresses, 3 would be your broadcast address, and then the next network starts at 4 and so on. The next network after that would be 8 and 12 and 16. It just goes in increments of 4. So we'll drop that down to a 10.10.10.0, wildcard mask of 3, area 0, because all of these interfaces are going to be in the area of 0 right there. Our next network is a 10.10.20.2, so that's going to drop down to a 0 again. So all we have to do is just change that to a 20, and we're golden. Enter. Our last one is a 10.00. That's going to be a 0, again for the same reason as above. Everything else should remain the same. Now, the thing that we want to do, because of this, we're going to jump all the way down here where it says that you want to configure Ospf so that the default routes are configured on administration are automatically distributed to all routers of the network. Let's give a default information originate. Enter. So we can get out of there now and go back to what we were doing previously. Okay, so that is IPv6. We can just do that pasted command that we copied earlier. Oh, IPv6 Ospf. Sorry, unicast routing. I forgot to do that unicast routing command earlier. There we go. Now we can do IPv6, because you have to turn on IPv6 routing before you can configure anything that has to do with IPv6. So IPv6 routing. Ospf version 10. Let's go and give our router ID. That's going to be the same router ID as above, 10.20.0.0. And then again, let's do that default information originate command because of that route right here that we made. So we want to share that around the networks. Now let's go over to our interfaces, S000 over here. So we have 000, 001, and 010. Now right here it says that we want to specify a bandwidth value that matches the clock speed. So bandwidth has to be given in kilobits per second. Okay. Now over here we'll do a do show run, and you'll see that right here on S000 and L001 we have a clock rate, and that's what it's telling us to do to match that clock rate, and that is given in bits per second, not kilobits but bits. So we have to match it in kilobits. So we just divide it by 1,000 because that's what a kilobit is, 1,000 bits. So it'll come up with a 128. Okay, so we do that for S000, S001, and we don't do it for S010. All right, so bandwidth is 128. That's 128,000 bits divided by 1,000. Enter. Now, since we are on this interface, let's pull it back into that IPv6 OSPF version that we were configuring, area 0. And do this one. Same thing with the bandwidth and same area. 1, 0. There we go. So that one's done, I believe. I'm going to just check my notes here quick, and I think we're okay to move on to our next router. Let's go back to our, we'll just exit out to our configuration menu. Let's go to Science, and we'll configure Science. Configuring Science. All right, we'll give our, paste that in, enter. Router ID is going to be 10.0.0.0. Network. Okay, let's check out our networks here. Science. Let's do that 10 network first. 10.10.10.0. 3 area 0. Now this is something that it doesn't tell you to do. It doesn't ever tell you to configure these two interfaces down here. It just tells you to do this one. So we'll do that one. Now we're going to have to configure these two interfaces in a different area. And this packet tracer doesn't do a good job of explaining that. It just says right here, it goes like single area OSPF version 2. Use the area 0. It doesn't tell you about the other two areas in area 10. And down here in OSPF version 3, or excuse me, in the multi-area side, it doesn't tell you. It just says configure the routers that have all interfaces in area 20 or 10 and 20, and that would be any. These have all their interfaces in area 10. These have all your interfaces in area 10. These have 20 and 20. Now this one does not have all of its interfaces in 10. It shares one interface with area 0. So I think that's a little confusing for me. And I didn't like that one bit. No, I did not. 172. So over here, let's go to our next interfaces and pull them in. So we've got a serial 001, and that's a 172.16.10.0 for the network. 3, area 10. That one is in area 10. Now we'll just do an up arrow, and this link down here is 172 matches, 16 matches, 10 matches. Now this doesn't match, and it's a /30, so we have to go over and change that to a 4, because you remember it comes in /30s go in multiples of 4. Enter. The last thing we want to do is do that default information originate command, so that the default routes that are on administrator that got shared to science also get shared to bio and physics. We can exit out of there. IPv6 unicast routing. IPv6. Paste that in there. Enter. Router ID is going to be the same thing as up here. Default information originates. Enter. So we'll exit out of there. Interface S000. We'll do that one as IPv6 OSPF 10. Oh, that automatic loading thing was going through. Whoa! Area. So the S000 is in area 0 because it's on that 10 network. And we have to change the bandwidth on this one too. This interface, the S000. Bandwidth, and that is going to be 128. That to match that clock rate. So this interface is on bandwidth 128, so this one has to be as well. All right, so let's go up here, change that to a 1. Now this area is still the OSPF is the same, 10 process ID of 10. Now this needs to be changed to a 10 because it's in area 10. Area 10, 10, 10. These are all area 10s. What am I doing? Alright, so let's consult the notebook, make sure we got everything we needed to, and I think we have. So let's exit back to the configure. Oh, technology. Okay, so we got the configuration terminal up. Let's go over and start on our router, OSPF version 10. Our router ID is going to be 20000 if I remember correctly. And I always do. No, I don't. You guys knew that, though. 20. And then, let's see, technology. We're on the technology router. Network. Let's do our... Come on. It's that autosave. It's annoying. Alright, let's do our 10.10.10. Oh, that's 20, not a 10. 20.0. Area 0, because that's the interface that's in area 0. Next, network. Wait, look at that. We got our adjacency. 172.16.20.0. 3 area. Now this one is going to be in area 20. So we've got one interface in area 0, 2 interfaces in area 20. And the next network command is 772.16.25. So that's going to drop down to a 4. So we'll just arrow over and drop it down to a 4. Everything else is right. Default information originates. Exit out of there. IPv6 unicast routing. IPv6. Alright, router ID is the same thing as above. Default information originates. Alright, let's get out of there and go to our interfaces. S000. We have to set that IP, or that, bandwidth to 128. Next, IPv6. OSPF 10 with the area of, let's see, we're on interface 000, that's area 0. Enter. Now let's go over to S001. He's going to be in area 20. And then we do this last one over here. His is area 20 as well. Okay, we got the bandwidth set. We got our areas up and going. I think we're done. Done on that one for a little bit anyway. So we're done on the administration, science, and technology routers, at least for now. Now let's move over to the bio router and start configuring. For step 3, configure single area OSPF version 3. Oh, what am I doing? Step 4. Configure Ospf version 2 in multiple areas. That's areas 10 and 20. We activate the appropriate networks. We're going to use the process ID of 10, same as everywhere. And after this step, we should be able to communicate with pings and whatnot across the networks. Okay, so let's open up Bio. Oh, we're already in the configuration menu. I forgot I set that up earlier. Enter. Router ID, that's going to be 10, all ones. Networks. What networks are we going to tell about this time? Wait for it to save quick. Networks for Bio. All right, 192.168.11.0. 255, since it's a /24 up here, right here. This is an area 10. All of its interfaces are going to be in area 10. Network 172, the next network down, 172.110, 16, and that's a 0. Area 10. And then our last one here is 16. That's a 9. That's gonna go up to 8. So because that's a doggone debug messages, leave me alone. That's a /30, so everything else should be right. Okay, IPv6 unicast routing, IPv6 paste. Router ID, same as above. And I think we're done. We just exit out of there. Interface G00, since we need to enable IPv6 Ospf version 3 on that interface. IPv6 Ospf 10 area 10. Let's do it for 1. Okay, we're done on Bio. Let's exit back to our configuration terminal and move on to physics. Oh, I love the physics, especially my wife's physics. Oh, baby. Okay, so we've got physics, configuration terminal. Let's go and start doing our router. Router ID is 10 something. 102222. Maybe I think I had one too many 2s in there. Start sharing our networks. Physics. Our first network is going to be that of 192.168.12.0 with a wildcard mask of 255. This is an area 10 again. We're in physics, area 10. Right? I'm not lost, am I? Nope, 10. We're okay. The next network is 172.16.10. That's a 6, so it's going to drop down to a 4. 3, area 10. Okay, the next network is a 1010, so it'll be an 8. Okay, I think we're good. Let's exit out of here. IPv6 unicast routing. IPv6 router ID. And then we can exit out of there and start on our interfaces. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's move out. Oh, we got an adjacency. Woohoo! All right, let's move over to the comp science now. Comp science router. Router ID. See what I mean by this thing just being so repetitive? Oh, it's just annoying. Like, so annoying. Ugh. Network. What are our networks? Back and forth, back and forth. Comp science. Well, at least we only have two networks here. 192.168. 21.0. Area 20. We're in the area 20 now. Our next network's 172.16.20.0. Area 20. That right? Yeah, that's right. Exits, IPv6, unicast routing, IPv6 router, Ospf version 10. Router ID, same as above, 20, all ones there. Exit out of there, interface G00, IPv6, Ospf 10, area 20. Okay, that one's done. Let's move on to our electronics one. Over here, electronics. Alrighty. Router ID 2222. Yep, 2222. Network 192.168.22.0. .4. Area 20. Alright, now let's go over to our interfaces and pull those into IPv6 Ospf process ID of 10 area 20. Hey look, we got another adjacency. Yay. Alright, we are done with that anyway. Last couple of steps. Customize Ospf version 2 and 3 for the multi-access networks connected between bio and physics routers. So this network right here. Configure priorities so that bio will become the designated router and physics will become the backup designated router. Use the priority values of 255 and 200. Let's do it, boys and ladies. Okay, so to do that, we need to go over to the interface that's connected those two together. And I believe it's the G01, but we can configure it real quick here. It'll pop up for me. Nope. So you can see that it's G01. Interface G01 IP Ospf priority for bio. It wants to become the designated router, so we're going to give him the 255. Enter. The next thing we're going to do is change the hello and dead timers since we're on this interface. Now we're not going to worry about these two commands yet. We'll get to that later. I'm going to write a little script with you guys so you'll know how to do this quick. Super cool. And OSPF version 2, we already did this command, so we don't have to worry about that. So we just have to do these last two here. IP OSPF, so we did the priority already. Let's do the hello timer, 5. And then let's do the dead timer, OSPF dead interval 20. Now we'll do it for the change the priorities for IPv6. Okay, so IPv4 and IPv6 have all been changed. Let's go over to the physics computer now. Interface G01, it's the same interface by the way. We're going to be configuring IP OSPF priority is going to be 200. Enter. IP OSPF hello timer 5. IP OSPF dead timer 20. Okay, we got that one. Now let's just do, oh God, I hate those debug messages. OSPF version 3 now. And we're loading. Okay, so we did both of those. Do show IP OSPF interfaces. So there we can see that the designated router is 10.1.1.1, and that is the interface, or that's the router ID for bio, which is supposed to be the designated router. The backup is 10.2.2.2.2, and that's the physics, just like we wanted. Our hello timers are 5 and 20. Here's a priority level on this router is 200. So it looks like everything got done correctly. Let's just do that command again, and we're going to do it for IPv6. Okay, where is it now? Where is it? Gigabit Ethernet 01. We have priority of 200, and our hello and our dead timers are correct. The backup router designated router is 10.1.1.1. Backup is 2.all.2.0. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do, just to make sure that everything is in here correctly, is we are going to exit out to the privilege exec mode and do a clear IP OSPF process. And then over here, let's do it again. OSPF version 6 process. Okay. So that one should be good. Let's go back into our configuration terminal. Now we're going to do the last couple of commands here. Down here where it says configure the interfaces in all routers that are attached to LANs, so that'd be these biophysics, comp science, electronics, and we're going to make a passive interface command on them. And then the other thing we have to do is enable all routers to automatically and accurately calculate costs for routes that include 1 gigabit per second Ethernet networks by changing the reference bandwidth. So there's two separate things that we're going to do, two separate scripts. Let me show you what I mean. So we've got here is our, let me just pull up this one here, I guess. Router OSPF 10 copy. We'll paste that in there. Then we're going to give our auto cost reference bandwidth. Now you'll see here that the reference bandwidth is in terms of megabits per second. So if it's a 1 gigabit link that we have to reference, we have to give that in 1000. So again, let's copy this. Copy, paste, enter, exit, exit. And let's do this again. Copy, paste, IPv6 to do the IPv6 version. And then let's copy this whole thing, paste it in there. And then we'll backspace this out and grab one more command. Passive interface G00, because that's that LAN interface. Okay, so now we've got our 2 scripts built. For the admin, science, and tech, we're going to use this script. So we'll copy that. Let's open up admin. And we'll go to the configuration terminal and then paste this in. So let's see what happened. So we've got in Ospf, router Ospf version 10, that we use the autocost reference bandwidth 1. Gave us this note right here. It says reference bandwidth is changed. Please ensure reference bandwidth is consistent across all networks. Then we said IPv6 router Ospf. Well, we exited out. Then we went to the IPv6 version, did the same thing, and then we exited out. So pretty cool, huh? Really fast. Let's do the other ones. Science. Exit. We have to be in the configuration terminal to do this. So we did that one. Let's do technology. Paste. That one's done. Now we'll copy this one. Copy. Let's go to bio. That one's done. Go over here to physics. That one's done. Go over here to comp science. Paste. Done. And then electronics. Done. So that's the packet tracer. Now I'm going to jump forward in time and we're going to turn this in and see what kind of score we got. It should be 100% because that's the only kind we know how to get, right? Dang right. Yay! We did it! Woohoo! Thank you very much for watching. You guys are awesome, as always. I ask that you would please subscribe, post some questions in the comment section below, or put a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Thank you very much again for watching, and we'll catch you in CCNA 4 in next semester, I guess. This will be mid-January. This will be the last video I do for CCNA 3 for a while, and then I'll try to post some CCNA 1 and 2 videos. So that'll be the only thing I'll be updating. Alright guys, peace.